All right. Good afternoon. I am Mark Slater. Welcome to today's live stream. Welcome to the Prime Spine Consulting Personal Injury group. If you're new, if this is your first live stream, welcome. We do this every single Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern and covering the topic of personal injury marketing. So again, my name is Mark Slater. I've been a chiropractor for 24 years. I've owned my own chiropractic offices in different cities. Opened up my first one in Alpharetta, Georgia, then in Birmingham, Alabama. Bought a medical practice in Atlanta, Georgia, where I currently reside in 2003. Yikes. And when I had that medical practice, I had medical doctors that did all the work. So what did I do as the chiropractor? Well, this guy hit the streets. I was talking to attorneys, urgent cares, MRI reps, other physicians. I mean, I was out there networking and marketing, and this is 2003. This is cell phones that just got introduced. Internet was was new. Everyone had a dial-up AOL account. So that's when I got started in work in chiropractic and in personal injury. In about 2017 or 2016, I got hired by a spinal surgeon here in the Georgia market. He knew that I had lots of relationships with attorneys, urgent cares, case managers. So he hired me to be VP of sales and marketing. We had multiple locations, but 2 surgery centers here in Savannah. And he wanted 200 new PI patients in a month. And because as a spinal surgeon, what he understood is that about 7% of all personal injury patients were surgical candidates. So he understood he needed to get a large patient population in order to have enough patients that were surgical candidates to do spinal surgery. And spinal surgery, pays the bills. Those bi-level A lifts, T lifts can be $100, $150, or $200,000 a case. That's why the doctor that I worked for had a Bentley and a private jet. So I worked there for 11 months. We were able to bring in 200 new PI patients twice in my tenure. He was able to perform more spinal surgeries in a month than he ever did in the past. And I just resigned. I resigned after 11 months. Nothing really happened, just that it was personal. I don't like being an employee. I learned a lot. I produced a lot. But I said to myself, I have something here. I have a method and a process that if I could share with other doctors and help them be successful in personal injury, that is what ultimately was going to make me happy. So that's what we're going to talk about today: personal injury marketing, building your business with a personal injury vertical. Not about converting your entire practice to PI. That's not what it's about, but having a vertical, another line in the water of a revenue stream. And the theme of today's talk is, you see it in the news. If you read the news, watch the news. I try not to do that for obvious reasons, because it's all bad and it puts you in a horrible mindset. So they talk about inflation, an upcoming recession. So if you're not taking action on your dreams and your goals for the practice and you're just staying the same, you're actually losing money. Because let's say you have a practice that generates $30,000 a month. Well, that $30,000 a month now becomes, well, if that's your break-even point, well, now your break-even point is now $35,000. So if you're staying the same, you're actually going to decrease, build up more debt, and that's not obviously what you want. So let's talk about this recession that's coming up. And let's talk about how we can escape it. Well, the bad news is we can't escape it. But here's the good news. You have a practice. You are in business. And if you want things to change in your business, you have to change too. It all starts with the mindset of the business owner. And so if you're telling yourself, well, I'm not a personal injury doc, or I'm happy where I am and whatever, you don't have to be a personal injury doctor. You can be a chiropractor or a physician that takes care of anybody that comes into your office. Some of your patients can just be personal injury patients. But in the upcoming months, you may see typical cash patients having to make tough decisions. Decisions about they're going to have to make cuts. And depending on their lifestyle philosophy, their chiropractic visits or their wellness care at the physician's office, if they're paying cash, that may go away. Insurance companies may be playing even more games with your dwindling reimbursements, and that's not fun either. But in personal injury, you can do whatever you want to help the patient get better. No one's looking over your shoulder saying you can only do 10 visits of that, or you can only do 5 visits of that, or a maximum here. No. You're going to document your care. You're going to talk about that these injuries were a result of trauma, and you can talk about validating your care by quoting a medical journal that these injuries left untreated could cause a long-term disability. All right, so that's all clinical stuff. But with personal injury, car accidents are going to happen all the time. As I said in my email, cars don't read the Wall Street Journal. They don't follow the stock market. Car accidents happen in any economic climate. So having a personal injury practice can weather the storm. I've said in previous, I say this, I got it from Tony Robbins, winter is coming, right? Winter in terms of your business. Winter is coming. It's coming this summer. And are you prepared to weather that winter storm? Because in order to weather that winter storm coming up in the next 90 days, you're going to weather it by the actions that you take today and next month, because there's a lag time. Okay, so that's my introduction. We're going to talk about how personal injury can kind of safeguard against a recession. Let me give you an example. Back in 2018 and 2019, I was signing clients into my program, and they were starting to build more personal injury patients into their practice. They were starting to build a network, create more relationships. And listen, they had a PI practice before they got to me, but these personal injury doctors started to ramp up their personal injury. Well, in 2020, when the country got shut down in March of 2020, even though you were allowed to stay open, patient volume was low, new patient volume was low, most likely people paying cash, or patients just didn't want to be around anybody, so the volume was low. But what I surveyed from my personal injury doctors, that some of them had their best months ever. Some of these doctors have been practicing for 20 or 30 years. Let me repeat that. They had their best months ever during the shutdown. Because during the shutdown, less volume of traffic, less car accidents. So all these attorneys were doing settling cases and mailing checks, settling cases and mailing checks to chiropractors and taking care of their clients. So my clients during that economic downturn, I mean, the market really crashed in 2020, came back up very quickly. But the doctors that were playing in the personal injury game, in the personal injury industry, they ended up winning during that economic downturn. So personal injury can be a vehicle to get you through winter, especially if you're in a state that has a high volume of med pay, or if you're in a PIP state, personal injury protection, no fault state, right? Like Florida, Minnesota, Pacific Northwest, New Jersey now. I mean, you can bill and get paid just like billing health insurance through personal injury patients and med pay and PIP. So if you're in the live stream, give some likes, give some loves. Welcome if you're here for the first time. Like I said before, we focus on personal injury marketing in this program, in my private program. I stay in my lane. It's all about marketing specifically for personal injury patients, right? Nothing clinical. I mean, we do talk about some clinical stuff, but there's plenty of consultants that can help you with clinical excellence in personal injury. But what I found is there's very few of them that help you get patients in your waiting room. So that's where I come in, because I found this void in the market. And so now we're going to talk about the methods, or the what and why. Like, how do we create these relationships? What do my private members, what are we doing to create these relationships? Well, let me tell you a little secret. I just did an interview this morning with a PI attorney. He's been a PI attorney for over 30 years. His name is Jay Drew. This picture's right here. Okay. So I had a meeting with Jay Drew this morning, and I was talking to him about Zoom. Like, this is a Zoom call. You see, I just took a snapshot. I said, Jay, let me ask you this. Are there doctors reaching out to you on maybe social media through direct messaging and asking to meet you or go to lunch or go to Zoom? He says, yeah, they do. And I love that because I get on Zoom calls all the time. But yeah, some do. That should be a clue for you. Lots of people email him, and he told me in this interview that sometimes he doesn't see his emails because they're filtered through a staff member. But he sees every single direct message sent on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. He gets a direct message on his phone. And statistics show that direct messaging has an 85% open rate. I'll show it to you. Messenger, like Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn Messenger, almost an 85% open rate. Email marketing, 22%. And I think that's high. I send mass emails out and I get a 10% open rate, sometimes 15, maybe 20. So Messenger is where it's at. And that attorney admitted that very few people were doing it. Talked in a previous live stream about a blue ocean strategy. There's no better blue ocean strategy right now than reaching out on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, directly to these attorneys, get in conversations, and ask them to do a Zoom call. Because I'm going to share with you what Jay told me. Jay Drew, that attorney. He says, in today's personal injury market, 2022, the geography of the lawyer is it no longer matters. It doesn't matter where the attorney is anymore. So Jay was sharing with me that he needs to know he's in Atlanta, like he is in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. But he has clients that live in Cairo, Georgia, south of Savannah, Georgia, almost to Jacksonville, Florida, Athens, Georgia, Columbus, Georgia, Augusta, Georgia. Jay's 200 to 300 miles away from those cities. So he mails them a DocuSign contract, if he accepts them, if he accepts them as a client, he emails them or texts him a DocuSign contract. And at the end of the case, he's going to mail him a settlement check. Okay. So geography has now been eliminated from the equation. So it doesn't matter where the attorneys are anymore because these attorneys are getting cases all over your state. So by using the technology and the power of social media, you can now reach out to attorneys hundreds of miles away from you, get in conversations, ask them to get on a Zoom call, and you no longer have to drive an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours to meet these attorneys and have one lunch. And that's a 5-hour ordeal. But if you use the power of social media and the power of technology, you can do 2 or 3 Zoom calls in a day with lawyers hundreds of miles apart. It's almost like cheating. It's almost like cheating. So, and here's another benefit. This type of marketing it's organic. It costs you nothing, just a little bit of time. So if you were to journal what you do throughout the day, I bet you can find 2 to 3 hours of distraction in your whole conscious day when you're awake, not when you're asleep. You probably have 2 to 3 hours in your day, maybe some 1, maybe 3, maybe even more, where it's not occupied by productivity. Well, if you have 30 minutes in your day, you can do this organic marketing by reaching out to these attorneys, get in conversations, tell them that you focus on personal injury. And if you're skilled enough to know what their pain points are, because in all these interviews with attorneys, I'm going to ask them shit you're not going to ask them. I'm going to ask them, are you going to be transparent with me at settlement time? What is your process there? Tell me what you like about talking to doctors. What bothers you? What are your struggles? What are your pain points? And I get them to tell me. And when they tell me these things, those are clues. Those are their pain points. So when my clients talk to these attorneys and they can address the pain points of the attorney, It makes the attorney like that doctor more, because the attorney feels heard and like, hey, this guy's asking questions that resonate with me. So when you know a little more and you can get in these conversations on Zoom and address their pain points, what keeps them up at night, what pisses them off. When I say pisses them off, stuff that doctors do that pisses them off, or stuff that marketing liaisons do that pisses them off. And if you know what those are and you can avoid those pitfalls, and you know what they like, and you know what their pain points are, man, your conversations go a lot better and a lot further. And it's about relationship creation. So even we're coming up on a recession, if you could develop some new relationships and you're reaching out to 1,000 of these people a month, 1,000, that's right, 4 figures, 1,000 a month in 30 days, you're going to grow your practice. It's a numbers game. If you understand massive numbers and you understand consistency, you can grow a personal injury practice. And what I find in doctors before they got with me is they just didn't know what to do. They really didn't have a framework or a plan. They know they had goals and they want to, make $100,000 a month. They're currently at 50. They want to double their practice. They know a PI patient is a $5,000. So if they can get 20 more PI patients in the door and hit that $100,000 mark, it would be life-changing for them. They just don't know how to get there, right? So I'm here to tell you, I have 3 main philosophies in my business, or my principles in my business. The first one is simplicity. It's got to be simple. Second, it's got to be efficient. You can do it quickly. And third, it's got to have a focus on generating profit. I didn't say revenue, I said profit. Simplicity, efficiency, and profit. People focus on revenue too much, right? I know I have a friend, he's a medical practice, makes $2 million a year. They spend $2.1 million. So what good is focusing on revenue? He needs to focus on profit. There's shit in his expenses that he needs to cut. It's wasteful because he's not making a profit on $2.1 million, on $2 million a year. That's crazy. Simplicity, efficiency, profit. And the overarching principle that I have is it's got to be fun. Because if it's not fun, you're not going to want to do it. But if you have a plan and you know exactly what to do, I even have scripting for you to build PI so that you can get that introduction to the attorney. The questions to ask attorney to literally move the conversation down the funnel. And then there's a certain point where you can ask a magic question. It's a magic question that gets you the Zoom call or the lunch. Like, I focus on Zoom calls because attorneys are used to it. Like I was talking to Jay Drew this morning. He's on Zoom all the time. Zoom depositions, Zoom court, Zoom trials. He did one Zoom trial. He absolutely hated it. It was a funny story. He says he likes to bang on the table, like in the courtroom. Couldn't figure out how to do that on Zoom. So he didn't like it as much, but they're on Zoom. So that's where the gold is. It's on Zoom. So having a mechanism, a unique mechanism to get them on that Zoom call and share your message, address their pain points, and create a relationship. That's how you do it. Well, I get some pushback. Well, 1,000 a month, maybe there's only 1,500 attorneys in my city. Right. Market to them first, and then go to the next city in your state, and then the next city, and then the next city. And then 90 days later, every single message that you send on your social media is stamped the day that you sent it. If somebody didn't respond to you after 90 days, go back, send them another message. But knowing what to say in that message is very important, right? Don't make it the same message because you're not a robot, you're a human, right? Be a little different. But it's the fastest way I've seen for relationship creation and personal injury by using the power of social media and using direct messaging. Okay, so you can grow as fast as you want in PI if you just know more and if you learn more and learn a new skill and have a plan, right? So my members make this non-negotiable, meaning they're gonna do this 50 a day, reaching out to attorneys. They're gonna do it Monday through Friday. It's non-negotiable. Are your goals negotiable? I want to make $200,000 a month. Unless, no, that's the goal. That's the result that you want. Ask yourself why you want it. Always start with why. Why do you want it? What would that do for you? Start with why. What's the purpose, right? Well, you can help more people, generate more revenue, pay your staff more, offer benefits, feed your ego. Sometimes that's important to business owners, right? They have a big practice, it helps their ego. Those purposes or those whys are going to get you more committed to the goal of making $200,000 a month. So once you have the result and once you know why, now all you need is a plan, and just non-negotiably execute that plan for attracting more personal injury patients into your group. So if this is resonating with you, give me some likes, ask a question if you're in the live stream, and I'm happy to answer it. Second here before we continue. What's up, Josie? I'm happy you're here in the live stream. So secondly, another pillar in my program is the doctors that are really successful and really growing their practice have a full-time marketing liaison for personal injury. Somebody that's in your market, in your city, not in your office, walking into law firms, urgent cares, primary care doctor offices, general practitioners, sharing their message there, and trying to set up meetings with you. Attorneys, they love their marketers. They love chiropractic marketers, medical office marketers. They love them. And they love those relationships. But you're not going to get any referrals until they meet you, because you're the decision maker. You're the one making decisions on diagnoses, treatment protocols, treatment plans, and settlement negotiation. The marketer isn't going to do that. But what I found is that these attorneys love practices with a full-time dedicated personal injury marketing liaison, because they know exactly who to call. I got 2 clients, here's their name, here's their phone number, here's their email address, here's their concern, get them in your office. They know it's one number to call. Simple, efficient, profitability, the 3 principles. Everything that I do in my business has to align with those 3 principles. That's like my North Star, right? So your marketing liaison. These attorney offices use the marketing liaison, your marketing liaison, like their quasi-employee to get anything that they need. Hey, I need the records for Mrs. Jones. I need them. We've wrapped up their case. I just need your notes because we got to get it settled. They're going to call your marketing liaison for that. Hey, I need to schedule these 2 patients. They're going to call your marketing liaison for that. The marketing liaison makes these simple and efficient. 2 of my core principles. So having a method to reach out to 1,000 attorneys a month on social media, I mean, you can do that from home, in your air conditioning, in front of your computer while you're drinking coffee, listening to music. Fun, right? 1,000 a month, a certain amount every single day, non-negotiable. Having a marketing liaison in the field, getting in conversations. You know, some doctors, oh, I don't want to hire another employee. That's the wrong mindset. This is somebody that's an investment in growing your business, not an employee expense. There are some of your employees that they obviously have value and worth because they help the workflow of your practice, but they're not going to be generating any revenue or profits. That's what your marketing liaison is going to do. Because let's say your marketing liaison, if you're just starting out, was responsible for bringing in 10 PI cases. And let's just say your average bill is $3,000 conservatively, that's $30,000 of eventual revenue that you're going to be making by having that marketing liaison in the field. If that marketing liaison is making, I don't know, $6,000 a month, well, that's an ROI of $24,000. I'll do any marketing campaign that gives me an ROI like that, a 5X ROI every damn day. Most businesses are happy with 2X ROI. I know franchisees at Subway, they're not making a 2-for-1 for every money they spend. They got very small profit margins. But personal injury can give you the profit margins that you need to weather this recession, especially if your cash patients dry up, Commercial insurance starts playing games with you, denying, delaying, and using all those tactics. But personal injury is a great way to build your practice during a recession. Car accidents are going to happen, and these attorneys, they are looking for you. In my private group, I have a different group for my private clients where I interview a bunch of these attorneys. And all these attorneys that I talk to winner attorneys. I don't talk to scumbags. You don't need to do business with them because there's so many people out there. Let the scumbags go abuse other doctors that'll take a 50% reduction sight unseen. You don't have to work with guys like that just because there's so many people out there that work in personal injury that are attorneys that do it the right way, right? So you can get through this recession by not spending any money on marketing on the social media side. If you have a marketing liaison, yeah, you're spending money, but you're investing $5,000 or $6,000 a month to make 30 or 50 or 60 per month with a full-time marketing liaison. You see the value here? Do you see the power of massive action and massive numbers and consistency? Those are two pillars of actions that my clients, I say it all the time. Massive numbers and consistency. That's how you grow a business, especially in personal injury. Okay. So if you want to know exactly, I've talked about the what we do and the why we do it, because you create a lot of relationships with the people that get the majority of personal injury patients. They have to send them somewhere. So if you have 20 solid relationships with attorneys that send you 1 or 2 a month, and you're a one-off chiropractor with one location, that's 30 to 40 PI cases a month. And my doctors are doing that when they're consistent and they reach out to a lot of attorneys and doctors every day or 5 days a week. So if you want to know the process, type 15 in the comments. I'll send you a link to set up a 15-minute call, and I can give you the action steps and find out what your current situation is in your business. Understand what your goals are. Like, this is where you are today. Where do you want to be in a year from now? Are you at 5 PI patients a month, 50 PI patients a month, 100 PI patients a month? I'm about to sign up a client. He's getting 500 new PI patients a month, and he wants more. And he doesn't have an internet program. It just start where you are. Start where your feet are standing. Type 15 in the comments below, and we can set up a 15-minute chat, and we'll talk about the action items that you can take to start creating relationships and bringing PI patients in this week. This week. It's just all about taking action. So type 15, let's set up a 15-minute call. I'd love to meet you, understand your current situation, learn what your goals are, and then I'll give you a plan to crush those goals. All right? So imagine reaching out to 1,000 PI cases, PI attorneys a month. Just imagine doing that. Imagine having a liaison who knows the lexicon of personal injury, knows medical legal terminology, can at least have a surface conversation with case managers, paralegals, and attorneys. Having them trained to do that. I provide that training as well. And getting in these messages and really putting your practice on the map. I'm going to share my screen and tell you what I mean by that. Putting your practice on the map. Every attorney that I come in contact with has this map. It's an interactive Google map, right? So this is Atlanta, and all these little red marks are the chiropractors that this specific attorney has relationships with. All the blue are medical doctors or physicians. They may be neuro, ortho, interventional pain, I don't know. This is a screenshot, but on his map, if you were to scroll over this guy right here, the name would pop up, the address, and the specialty. So if this attorney gets a patient that lives or works in this area, it's called Lilburn, Georgia, he's going to send it to this relationship chiropractor that he has here, or if they need medical intervention, maybe this guy, or maybe this is ortho. If the patient needs neuro, it's going to be somewhere there. So geography matters to the providers, but not the attorney. I don't care, and the attorney doesn't care either, that if this guy right here sent the attorney 10 unattached cases last month, but the patient lives over here, no one in their right mind is going to drive 30 to 45 minutes across murderous Atlanta traffic 3 to 4 times a week. It's 102 degrees outside now. Gas is super expensive. No one's going to do that. He's going to send it to this guy, right? This is a side note. a lot of the doctors that I work with think it has to be this one-for-one attorney referral relationship between you and the doctor. Attorneys consider doctors like that unicorns, right? It happens, but those are unicorns. There's just too many PI clients that go to the attorney first because the attorneys just dominate the marketing. So get that one-for-one out of your head. We can get you unattached cases. There's a way to do that by marketing to the medical community. Unattached means they don't have an attorney. And if you can get skilled at getting unattached cases and send them to attorneys, you're really going to grow your practice, because attorneys obviously love free cases. Well, what do you mean a free case? Well, let me say it like this. When attorneys market, let's say they're spending $100,000 a month and they get 50 clients from their monthly marketing spend, ad spend. They have so $100,000, they get 50 clients. They have a $2,000 acquisition cost. So when they send you that client, they're already $2,000 in the hole because their marketing got that client in their office. So a couple of points I want to make here. So when they ask you to take a cut, I want you to understand that their marketing ad spend brought that patient to your office. So don't be so high and mighty that I only get 100% on my bill. What they're really asking is, hey, contribute a little bit to my marketing so we can continue this relationship. Okay, so just think about that for a second. Now, if you sent them an unattached case, unattached meaning they don't have an attorney, and you sent that patient to the attorney. Well, that attorney got a free case, zero acquisition cost. Attorneys love that. They should send you one or two in return, but you have to verbalize that. Hey, I want to get this unattached case over to you. Great case, blah, blah, blah. Here you go. Hey, you think you can send me 2 more this week? What's the harm in asking, right? Worst thing they can say is no. You just sent them an unattached case. They're in a good mood. That's the best time to ask, when they're in a good mood, right? So ask for more cases. So that's kind of what we cover in my private group. So if you want to learn more, type 15, we can hop on a call. I can understand your current situation. And then maybe we bring that to a Zoom call where I can show you the whole process, understand your current situation, get to talk a little more with you and understand where you are, what your goals are, and see if we're a good fit. I don't accept everyone. I only want to take people that are committed to PI, that I know that I can help. Because if you don't grow, that affects me. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for attending today's live stream. And you can focus on the problem, the inflation, and you can focus on the stocks, and you can focus on all the stuff that depresses you and puts you in a bad mood. Well, I like to focus on solutions. I don't want to sit in my problem. Yeah, I have those problems too. Not a whole lot I can do about it other than grow my practice and take action on my goals. And that's what you can do as well if you have a plan. So I can help you with that plan, make it really simple, efficient, and focus on profits and overarching. It's got to be fun. And when you have a plan and it's proven and it works and you just do it every day by reserving that 30 minutes, you're going to grow your practice. I swear, I know I'm making it sound simple, but that's a principle of my program. Simple, efficient, profit generation. Okay. So that's my live stream. I want to thank everyone who attended live. If you requested the replay, thank you so much for just being interested in this content. And if you really want to make a change, not only in yourself, but in your practice, book a 15-minute call with me. Type 15 in the comments below and let's talk. The call's free, right? Worst case scenario, you get 1 or 2 value adds, little pieces of nuggets of value, even if we don't work together. And I'm fine with that. So don't hesitate to schedule a 15-minute call and let's grow your PI business. So we're going to be here at 4 p.m. Eastern next week for our next live stream. Hope you have a great week. All you fathers out there, have a wonderful Father's Day. Here's a little nugget of value. I know it's Thursday, it's pretty close, but have you sent your attorneys that you have relationships with Father's Day cards? Right? How many chiropractors or doctors are doing that? None. How many of them are going to send Christmas cards? Hundreds. So your Christmas card is going to get lost. But if you send them a Father's Day card, Ooh, they're going to remember that. You're going to stick out and they're going to remember that. 4th of July is coming up as well. Maybe mail some 4th of July cards because nobody gets those, right? Some more blue ocean strategies for you. So 2 little pieces of value for you. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. We're going to see you next week, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here in the Facebook group. And if you have friends that are chiropractors and they're looking for solutions, they're stuck, steer them to my Facebook group. I give away more free advice that has more value, more value for free than some people's paid programs. I'm not saying that to be cocky, just I like providing value. I like to overdo it. Okay. Anyway, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for attending today's live stream. I'm Mark Slater with Prime Spine Consulting.